Hello. I think there's a lot of hatred in the world, and it needs to be processed, and that's why so many people hate, is because they have the belief that hatred needs to be processed, and that there is hatred, and it must be processed to go away, almost like an exorcism, bringing energy into your being to, let it touch your divinity, and so it'll transform and evolve. I don't believe that one should vent, as this is a very derogatory term to the truth of conversation and to the truth. The truth will find who it wants to direct its system, and everything that has ever happened is the body of it. For one to change something that is so marked in hatred, one must know the system's true value and its structure. To do this, you have to be true to yourself, because the God within is like the center of the whole universe, and every person is the center of their own universe. So being true to yourself really points you in the right direction. I have been known to take a lot of hatred. I don't bite back when I feel hatred because, one, is called turning the other cheek, and two, I don't want to be at that level. A lot of people say that stuff, but it doesn't have a true soul depth to it. True soul depth is involved with hatred and goodness, and it's blended into one being, and thus power is created. Power is not fearful. Power is divine and wonderful. The reason we suffer on earth is because we lack power. The reason we lack power is that we don't take care of our own power. And there is a way to do things when one is stuck in the dust in the dark. It takes more will than it does when you are free from that darkness. And thus, when I get powerful, I do not want to take advantage of my freedom, but I'd rather keep checking myself with fire and the volcanoes and hell. Keep looking at it so that I know what's going on. And thus, if a very light and powerful enlightened person keeps looking at hell, and he gets that energy in him, and so when hellish beings look at you, or beings that haven't processed infinity, you'll be able to look at them and they'll see something normal, because you'll have hell in you. The system that I am learning from, it gives me a lot of hatred to feel and deal with. It's a very drastic thing. It's almost like murder. It's like this wizard teaching me, and he's dark and insane. The reason I don't like him is because he's not dark enough. He doesn't emanate darkness, and so warn the audience of who he is. He's not that true. That was not a true statement, but it pointed to the truth. The truth is one, and it's evident now. If you don't agree with something, then it's wrong, and you aren't looking in the right place. Darkness to me is divinity, and thus I think that I could be dark and not do it with a controlling attitude, an attitude of hatred, and thus for someone to move into a dark responsibility place, who really is natural, that's his natural environment, he may lead it a different way than someone who is almost forced to do it, or forces himself to do it. It's almost like, iguanas live in trees, and bats live in zoos, and bugs live in the desert. Everything has its home. And you have to know where you belong to be true to yourself, because there is order in the universe. Because it's not in order, there's pain. It's like bone rubbing on bone. There's no lubrication. And God is like the lubrication that makes hatred go away. There's such a drastic need to be peaceful at this time, and thus there's a lot of anxiety. Anxiety really creates problems and takes you away from who you are. I felt peace in a person, and he healed me of what happened. In hospitals, it's not peaceful, it creates problems. This is a place of anxiety. And healers need to be peaceful and one with God and in tune with themselves. Pagan people, people who deal with energy, they are very in tune to that. And yet, the America world, the conscious ego, white, I see that, does not like that and will not heal with that. I wonder why. There is a need for violence and drastic things like cutting people open. If one were very sensitive to this, he may catch it like a virus and start implementing it artistically in his own life. There are many different people in the world, and I've got to experience different types of consciousnesses because I've been very resilient to manifesting my ego in a way that is not in line with who I am for my whole life. And so I've got to travel to some places and see things that I wouldn't normally see. This white, small, cute, straight A follower, Christian brought up girl, it's kind of hard not to be insanely sexual and flirtatious, manifesting the spirit outwards and releasing it to let many sensitive people feel this glory. And what could really be healing is the serious intent to heal. And that is what I believe the world is about. If the world does not correct itself, I'm going to leave the world, and it'll have to deal with it without a light to show it the way. Without a light, everything will seem normal again. And the hospital can go on cutting people without a feeling of guilt or anxiety. It will not be led to its way. Anxiety and hatred point you where you need to go, and thus that's what disruption does. The CIA, I see, and FBI. I don't like the FBI as much as I like the CIA. CIA, intelligence. Intelligence I like, and it analyzes different types of intelligence, the CIA. It knows things that we don't know. If one is psychically tuned into this and can legally say all the languages as that bowing down to Christ, but in a special way and not an egotistical way, he can translate truths that are normally hidden. This is what happens if you find like the gold, the sacred gold in the pyramid. It's not something you do to be spiteful and mean. Yet, if you haven't found it, you wouldn't understand what I'm saying. So don't listen to what I say and believe it. You gotta analyze who I am, what I look like, the cultural relevance of my place in the world. You've got to analyze why I didn't say one thing and when I said another, and my fears. You can feel everything, and you know everything. You just don't think because there's too much pain. And that's what I've gone through. A lot of pain. At some point, after you've experienced enough pain, you won't have to think anymore. And you'll be led to the light, because you've experienced chaos and you are chaos, and you're blind to all things. and you'll be able to dance. Hatred. The wizard who brings me hatred, I do not like. It is a very dark energy. It's blue, and it's so serious. And I've learned from that seriousness. I do not look at the pain of this person, but his strength is being hypnotic, and I've learned from that. That is what I have learned from him. The hatred and vehemence, his inside, his fears, and his place in the world determine the karma I receive from him, and I process that. Everyone you come into contact with, you receive karma from them. You receive their hurts, and we heal each other. That's why some people don't like fat people, because they have complications. And it's unconscious reality that we give some of our complications to people. To heal someone, you can't be jealous of them, you can't be fearful of them, you can't hate them. Your unconscious has to register that all is one, and to heal them, you'd heal yourself. You can't shun the wound. You can't hate the pain. You have to be a shaman and dance. That's the kind of life I'd like, if everyone danced. And new energy. Because doctors don't heal. The reason why you don't get that when I say it is because I haven't internalized the light aspect of it into myself, and the language that I say it with is not real because I'm not learned at it. But the truth is within me, just like all truths that you know are within you. And if you have any fear or doubt that this is your true calling, and you try to heal people, and you cut them open, and you haven't been divinely blessed by a surgery saint, or any kind of saint, then you are not healing. You're persecuting people with your own fear of the government and your own fear of death. We create the response that will happen, the answer to our question. We will create that. If your question is, I want to be a surgeon because I'm really smart, some very true to spirit person may then have a heart attack and bless you with more ideals that perhaps surgery shouldn't be done when you're smart. Perhaps it should be an intuitive thing and divinely placed. Earth is supposed to be a place of healing, and the pagan people know that. They are one when they come together in contact with spirit and ritual. They are one. Their minds blend into one. And this is a lot different from Christianity. Christians are scared of becoming one with any other person. They fear that people are bad and that only God is good. This is a crude map for the truth of the whole entire world. And only when we prove to those Christian people who have that true crude map that we know stuff, then we'll be able to manifest everything in the world, and they'll learn from us, etc. Thank you. Bye.